1. The Woods of Whispering. Officer Jack Thompson, now retired, had always taken great satisfaction in his unwavering bravery. However, nothing could have prepared him for the horrors that he would experience that fateful night in the woods of Whispering. He believed it was just another ordinary patrol, but then his radio suddenly came to life and he called for help in a panic. Jack's pulse was thumping with adrenaline as he raced into the thick jungle. However, as he descended further, a strange quiet descended, interrupted only by the sound of leaves rustling and the distant echo of his own steps. And then he saw it, a pale, emaciated person standing in the middle of the trees. A strange intensity flashed in its eyes, chilling Jack to the bone. Disregarding his gut feeling, he moved slowly forward, weapon up. However, when he got closer, the figure disappeared, leaving only a spooky whisper that seemed as though it was coming from the forest's depths. Jack staggered back, completely startled, as the murmurs intensified, engulfing him in a crushing panic. Jack is constantly reminded of the evils that lurk in the shadows by the eerie whispers he can still hear in the dark. The forsaken refuge officer, Sarah Williams, saw the shuttered facility as little more than a deteriorating artifact from a bygone era. However, she soon discovered that some nightmares never really go away when she was called to look into tales of weird sightings within its as she ventured farther inside the asylum, creating unsettling shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Her senses were acutely aware of every sound, and every step resounded in the quiet like a thunderclap. She then noticed them, whispers of tormented souls, destined to spend all of eternity wandering the halls, and shadows darting through the shadows. The realization that she was not alone made Sarah's blood run cold. A chilly hand grabbed her shoulder as she turned to go, sending her hurtling into the chasm. Her shouts were drowned out by the agonized wails that filled the air as she struggled against the darkness. Sarah swore she would never go back to the asylum after emerging bruised and broken. However, she still has nightmares about that night, which serve as a continual reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. 3. The House of Haunts. Nothing could have prepared Officer David Ramirez for the horrors that awaited him in the haunted house, even though he had seen his fair share of atrocities in his time on the force. In response to rumors of odd happenings, David cautiously made his way into the deserted estate, his flashlight shining brightly through the shadows. However, as he descended down into its depths, a chilly shiver went down his spine. David felt a chill run down his spine as the home seemed to come to life around him, with its walls vibrating with a dark force. Whispers of the damned reverberated through the corridors as shadows danced in the corners of his vision. Then he saw her, a spectral figure with hollow, lifeless eyes that were peering directly into his soul. Eyes that were peering directly into his soul. David attempted to escape, but the house appeared to have other ideas as its walls grew closer to enclose him. With his heart thumping in his chest, David battled the darkness in a last-ditch attempt to win freedom. And he realized that some nightmares never really end when he eventually made his way, bruised and all, out of the haunting mansion. 4. The Shadow Cult. The Cult of Shadows, Officer Emma Thompson believed, was really a fable, a story meant to terrify kids into doing as they are taught. But in the middle of night, she discovered their twisted rituals and came to the realization that certain horrors are all too real. The cultists' faces contorted with madness. Emma watched in dread from deep within the forest as they sang in a language she did not understand. with a menacing smile that stretched across his face. Their leader, a shadowy figure, lifted a sacrifice dagger to the sky. Emma realized she needed to move quickly, but it felt like the darkness was engulfing her, and its tendrils were dragging her down into its depths. Her heart thumping in her chest, she battled the darkness with a strength born of desperation. Emma triumphed in the ensuing mayhem, sending the cultists scattering like leaves in a storm. But she realized as she peered down the chasm that certain horrors are never really defeated. Jack, Sarah, David, and Emma are retired officers who bear the wounds from their interactions with them as a continual reminder of the evil that exists in the shadows. Even though they may have moved on from the Force, they are aware that some nightmares never really go away.